Chapter 376, 248. The title of the Saint Spear's Spirit. Extra, 4K, asking for double monthly tickets. See covering Saint Spear, Yang Ju, the former headmaster of Magic City Martial Arts University, one of the 13 marvels of Dezia. A moment of silence ensued, followed by a thunderous roar that shook Dinglong Hall like a landslide in tsunami. See covering Saint Spear. Magic Martial, Magic Martial. At the end of the spear path, who peaks high upon seeing Yang Ju, the path begins to fade. The Yang family spear, invincible. Billions adore the 13 legends. Today, 99% of the audience at Magic City's Spear Skill Exchange meeting came for the sea covering Saint Spear, a lifetime bragging right for ordinary people to witness a legend. Wang Xian couldn't help but say, "Not a wasted trip, huh, junior brother, how do you feel?" Lu Chenju looked at the figure beneath the cover of the sea and said, "He stands there like the spear itself, he is the way." Wang Xian nodded and said, "The supreme divine skill of Magic City, the sea-covering Great Saint Spear, was created by Yang Ju himself. He once went alone to the Void Realm off the East Sea with just his spear, stirred up 10,000 acres of seawater, burst into the clouds, and in an instant wiped out the mighty presence of the Void Realm. With the power of a single spear, he turned the heavens and the earth upside down, and the sea hung inverted. What kind of inconceivable power was that?" Lu Chenju said, "I heard that the senior is a descendant of the Yang family." Exactly, numerous spear experts have been born from the Yang and Yue families, great at slaying enemies on the battlefield, and have consistently held important military positions, defending the country and protecting the family. The Yang and Yue families, cradles of national heroes from old times. High above, Yang Ju descended gracefully to the ground. With a wave of his hand, the invisible sea behind him turned into ashes. The so-called sea was but an illusion created by the terrifying pressure of his presence influencing heaven and earth. The overwhelming aura of the absolute peak swept out, deterring the presence of lurking cowards. The beautiful hostess, flushed with excitement, announced, "Welcome, senior sea-covering spear." The arena erupted again with warm cheers. Yang Ju said, "This Dezia Spear Technique Exchange has seen good performances from everyone. It's heartening to see so many talented spear practitioners. In the future, here in the Magic City Dinglong Hall, I will continue to hold the second and third Spear Technique Exchange meetings, with the goal of selecting outstanding talents who will become the backbone of defending the country and maintaining peace in the human world. Among cold weapons, spear skills are best suited for battlefield combat. Currently, half of the Army's hand-to-hand combat experts are masters of the spear path. The way of the spear has no end. I've just set out a little earlier than you all. My friends, keep up the good work. As the president of the Gun Skill Association, I declare the first exchange meeting a success." Next, Yang Ju presented awards to the participants. The first place went to Wu Jinlong, the chief of magic martial arts, with end-realm cultivation and mastery over 2 true skill-level spear techniques, significantly surpassing Lu Chenju in the spear craft. Strong competitors like Wu Jinlong also won awards. The prize money for this competition was substantial, with the champion receiving 30 million and a chance for guidance from Yang Ju. Cash was one thing. Guidance from an absolute peak was a priceless treasure. Common treasures could not compare. Perhaps a single guidance session could help a strong contender stuck at the 4th realm advance further. Wang Xian sighed and said, "Alas, I'm too old now. Junior brother, practice your spear skill well. Take the opportunity in the future to come to this spear skill exchange, claim the championship. Receiving guidance from Yang Ju, your path and spear technique will surely benefit for life and make great strides." "I'll try my best." In the spear technique exchange, only spear skill was evaluated. Divine weapons could not be used, and even the participants' chi blood was temporarily suppressed to the initial realm cultivation by Magic City's Grandmaster Divine Weapon, the Measuring Sky Ruler. Essentially, the outcome of the competition rested on 2 points. Mastery of spear technique. Combat talent, experience, skill. Of course, if one gets down to the nitty-gritty, cross-training counts as well. After all, cross-training is passive. Lu Chenju's strength was formidable, and if it were an unrestricted fight, few martial artists present would match him. However, his spear technique was average at best, far from the 3rd realm, and he had not mastered any true skill-level spear technique. Most participants were at the 4th realm. Nonetheless, he gained a lot from witnessing this battle. He felt that the 3rd realm of spear technique, was only as far as a sheet of paper away. After the award ceremony, Yang Ju stepped onto the stage. He announced, "To thank everyone present for supporting the first spear technique exchange, I, Yang Ju, will demonstrate basic spear skill on the stage today. Although it is simple, it contains some of my understanding of spear theory. Pay close attention. If you can learn something from it, it will surely help you on the path of spear technique." Upon Yang Ju's words falling, the crowd was visibly shaken. Even ordinary people knew how rare this opportunity was. Some spear enthusiasts took advantage of this moment to head to an open space in the plaza and take out their long spears. Wang Xian laughed heartily. "Junior brother, it's raining pies from the sky. Let's go take a look too." No sooner had he spoken than Wang Xian turned into a white streak of light, exuding tiger form aura, his usual gentle demeanor gone, his every move brimming with the majesty of a king. Lu Chenju also leaped up, stepping into the air, and lightly joined his senior brother's side. "Ha ha ha, thank you, Senior Yang." From a corner came an old voice. A grandmaster presence soared into the sky. He held the divine weapon spear in his reversed hand, landing beside the stage. Yang Ju laughed and said, "Eight Extremes Heavenly Spear Yu Cheng." Even the grandmasters on the heavenly list could not help but enter the fray. Such an opportunity was rare, and indeed became a feast for spear technique enthusiasts. Laypeople enjoyed the spectacle, experts examined the technique. Before starting, Yang Ju said, "The way of the spear originally came from ancient people using long spears to fight wild beasts and struggle against nature, a way of survival. Later it evolved into a battlefield weapon, a way of defending the country and protecting the family. No matter when, the first and foremost principle of spear technique cultivation is to refine the heart." Chapter 377, 248. The title of the saint, Spear Spirit. Extra, 4K, asking for double monthly tickets /2. Press forward relentlessly. Sacrifice life for righteousness. Never surrender. I have always believed that among the soldier attack skills, it is the spear skill that can best cultivate the martial arts will. No matter what type of spear skill, no matter what weapon you hold, in the moment you wield a spear, you are the pillar of your family, the protector of national righteousness. Yang Ju's words made spear enthusiasts deeply reconsider their spear skill from another perspective as they gazed at their long spears, as if they had gained new insights. Afterward, Yang Ju began demonstrating basic spear skills. Simple stabs, picks, blocks, and entanglements. Basic techniques of soldier attack skills that contain the beauty of unity between man and spear, between the heavenly and the human, and a return to nature. The first to grasp the mysteries of the absolute peak spear technique was Grandmaster Yu, who, under Yang Ju's spearplay, recalled the first time he had connected with the spear heavenly heart imprint. 800 Li under command. 50 strings overturn the sounds beyond the frontier. Battlefield, soldiers, blood, home and country. The way of the spear lies in protection. Grandmaster Yu's expression was serious, and as he wielded his spear, his unique baddie sky-shaking spear, a technique of extreme destructiveness, now held an unusual significance. On the other side, Champion Yang Tian, with bright eyes, said, "This competition was worth it. Once I go back and break the second shackles, I should be able to step into the fifth realm of spear skill theory." In a corner, runner-up Wu Jinlong, while practicing his spear, laughed. Questioning the spear's might beyond the frontier, how does it compare to the short oar of old Jianghu? His hometown, Yanzhou, is a martial arts hotspot, previously even producing spear technique grandmasters renowned across temples and the river world. Under Yang Ju's interpretation, his understanding of spear theory deepened. The masters of spear skills were quick to understand. Wang Xian also wouldn't show weakness, wielding his long spear with a magnificent aura. After Yang Ju finished demonstrating, he scanned the gathering with his eyes. Seeing the younger generations earnestly practicing, he was moved. This exchange competition was indeed worthwhile. The path of spear skill has successors. Suddenly, Yang Ju's gaze was drawn to a certain place, where a young martial artist holding a divine weapon had a clear gaze reflecting a sky of flying sands, iron cavalry, the youth killing enemies with his spear, forgetful of himself, like an ancient tiger general, invincible and majestic. At some point, the others had successively finished following the spear demonstration, their expressions excited, clearly having gained much insight. By now, only a few remained practicing their spear skills on the square. Wang Xian looked at his unstoppable young junior with a bitter smile. Has inspiration struck him already? Although he had gained some insight too, he was far from any sudden inspiration. This state of his junior was coming a bit too casual. A gaze settled on Lu Chenju. It belonged to Grandmaster Yu. His eyes narrowed, and then he said, "Isn't this the top rank of Dragon City?" Previously during trials he had highly praised Lu Chenju, the posture of a spear god. If not for Lu Chenju being already committed, he would definitely have been shameless enough to take him as a disciple. Grandmaster Yu was puzzled. Every time he saw Lu Chenju wielding a spear, he seemed to be in an inspired state. Yang Tian, Wu Jinlong, and other geniuses of spear skills all looked puzzled. Who is this? The top rank of Dragon City. I didn't see him compete. Must be a spectator. While his spear technique is rough, every move is spiritually vibrant, and merely by observing absolute peak spear training, he was inspired. His comprehension of spear skill isn't bad. These long-renowned spear skill talents didn't underestimate Lu Chenju. Having witnessed the spear of the absolute peak, they harbored no iota of arrogance. Those able to understand the mysteries of absolute peak spear technique on the spot, how could they be ordinary people? With limited time, Yang Ju gave Lu Chenju one look, transformed into a rainbow light that lifted off the ground and disappeared into the sky, leaving only a resonant voice that lingered. Those who understand the essence of my spear skill in the future may visit East Sea City, where every day at dusk I will be practicing my spear skill on the city walls, hoping to help fellows. East Sea City, also known as Magic City Starfur Dragon City. Named so for being located within the East Sea Void Realm. When these words were spoken, the crowd looked on respectfully, bowing in unison. We, the younger generation, thank our senior for passing on the technique. Before coming, everyone had only heard that Yang Ju was open with his teachings. Among all in the absolute peak, he was the most willing to demonstrate techniques to the younger generation, and now they truly witnessed it. Grandmaster Yu moved spoke. His spear skill has reached the immortal realm, still he addresses us juniors as equals. Yang Ju, the senior, is truly passionate about his spear skill, worthy of the title Holy Spear. The title of Saint is indeed a significant and fateful honor. From ancient times to the present, very few have used the character Saint in their titles. The most classic example, like Martial Saint, was used by a grandmaster long ago and has not been used by any powerful martial arts practitioners since then. Once such a title is used, one must bear the unspeakable karmic consequences. Among the 13 absolute peaks of the martial arts world, only Yang Ju's title includes Saint, but it is merely Holy Spear. No one uses Spear Saint. Similarly, titles like Sword Saint, Blade Saint, and Fist Saint remain untaken, having become unwritten rules of the martial arts world. Occasionally, some average martial artists who wish to use them won't get approval. How would the Dragon King and One Shixian feel if you, a martial artist, use the title Martial Saint? Top-level powerhouses unanimously refrain from using such titles. As for titles such as Martial God or Sword God, the reasoning is the same. These titles are far too burdensome, carrying them brings immense unseen fortunes. If one can withstand the weight, well and good, but for those who cannot, according to ancient cases, they usually meet a terrible end. Time passes. Figures gradually disperse. The organizers begin to clean up the venue. Wang Xian, standing by Lu Chenju's side, smilingly said to the staff, "My junior brother was filled with spirit, hope you understand." The staff looked surprised, then smiled. "That's good, we won't disturb him." Unaware of the time, 4 hours had passed. Lu Chenju's mind was no longer in the real world, but in a distant ancient battlefield. By his side, ghostly figures of warriors defending their homes and country, full of zeal, brushed past him, fearlessly charging towards barbarians and foreign enemies attempting to invade their homeland. Kill the barbarians. With a heroic will, feast on the flesh of the enemy, laughing as they drink the blood of barbarians. Drunk lying in the sands do not jest, through ages, how many come back from campaigns? The spirit of a man rushes towards the heavens. Nation and ethnicity are eternal zeal. Lu Chenju, moved in body and spirit, armored and riding a mystic tiger, roared, dragging his long spear into the battlefield. White ape dragging a knife. The long spear, like a giant ape rolling over, flung enemies in its path. Yakshasi exploration. The long spear, striking like a ghostly deity, splitting the enemy encirclement. Snake in the grass. Spirit cat pouncing on a mouse. Phoenix nod. Lu Chenju, like a god of death, left a wake of corpses behind him. Blood painted the skies, the war drums mourned. A regal figure, bearing a standard, approached majestically on horseback. The king thrust his spear, shattering mountains and rivers, causing dragons and serpents to rise, turning heaven and earth upside down. First great spear, martial king's flag. All enemies annihilated. The resolute figure of Lu Chenju overlapped with the ghostly image of the martial king behind him. Elephant form has spirit, spear skill has spirit. He almost touched the embryonic form of spear's spirit. This meant that his spear skill realm had already far exceeded the ordinary first and second realms. Stepping into the third realm, and his realm not shallow, the mysteries of spear skill demonstrated by the absolute peak transformed instantly, allowing Lu Chenju to grow tremendously in one day, advancing rapidly in his spear skill realm. From the outside, Wang Xian, with the perspective of a master, could see the ancient king's ghostly image emerge amidst the rising vigor of Lu Chenju's spear, spreading a silent aura of dominance. His heart stirred. The embryonic form of the spear's spirit. Just yesterday, my junior brother was still at the second realm of spear skill, and today, he has reached the third realm, having also connected with the heavenly heart mark and grasping the spirit. Wang Xian thought to himself, I brought you to watch the fun, and you ascended on the spot. He knew that Lu Chenju's gains in a single day equaled what could take months, or even up to a year and a half of arduous practice. His junior brother's mastery in spear skill was quickly catching up to him. Wang Xian felt a touch of urgency. His own realm of spear skill was just at the fourth level. He finally understood why their master held such great regard for his junior brother. Truly, his junior's potential was boundless. By now it was dusk. The remaining sunlight bled like blood. The staff had gradually dispersed. Clouds of steam rose from Lu Chenju's body, and the heat and electric light slowly dissipated. The tiger gall divine spear resonated sonorously, almost as if saying, Breakthrough exhilarating. P.S. On the first day of National Day, Old Tian resolved the double chapter event. This chapter is an additional bonus. With daily updates of 12,000 words, it is really impossible to accumulate drafts. In a while, there will still be some family matters to handle. Today, 15,000 words, appealing for monthly tickets and subscriptions. Chapter 378, 249 6 Harmonies Perfection, 4K. Before, the spear skill could only be described as mediocre. Now it truly reached an advanced level. Lu Chenju looked at the martial arts tree. 6 Harmony Spear, Perfection Integration Possible. Divine Seed sweeping 6 harmonies, 3rd rank, stored in the Sheifu Acupoint. Sweeping 6 harmonies, terrifying in all directions. Effect 1, Soldier Wisdom 3rd level. Effect 2, Gun Dao 3rd level. Effect 3, Battle Blood. The more enemies killed, the stronger the battle intent. Battle intent can enhance spear skill power. No need to elaborate on Effect 1 and 2. Effect 3 made Lu Chenju's eyes light up. Battle Blood, like breaking army, is a divine skill on the battlefield. It seems the special effects of spear techniques are all related to the battlefield, excelling in facing multiple enemies. He turned to his senior brother, Wang Xian, and said, Senior brother, I need another hour of gun training. Do as you like. Wang Xian was already practicing Heavenly Pile. A qualified martial artist never wastes a second of training time. Lu Chenju took a martial arts elixir to replenish his strength, and after 10 minutes of rest, he dragged his slightly fatigued body to continue training with the spear, this time for integration. Wang Xian watched Lu Chenju's spear skill, his gaze thoughtful. White Tiger breaking army spear, 6 harmony spear. My junior is trying to integrate 2 top-level spear techniques, entering the 3rd realm of spear skill. It's somewhat challenging. However, it wasn't entirely impossible for his junior brother. Understanding the heavenly heart mark, cultivation was almost God-assisted. The sunset fell below the horizon. The crowd at Dinglong Hall had dispersed, and besides a few scattered staff, only the 2 brothers remained. Breaking army. Lu Chenju gathered his spirit, essence, and energy into one, merging person and spear. As the spear stabbed out, an invisible force split the air. A ripple of moving air burst forth for 30 feet before exploding in the void. Wang Xian's eyes sharpened. Good lad, you've grasped the technique of releasing the spear's light. Spear light, sword light, knife light are unique small techniques within the soldier attack skill. Generally, only martial artists specializing in this field can comprehend it, spear light being one of the rare mid-range attack methods for martial artists, unexpected and unblockable. In the old days, those who mastered the spear light were all great generals. Lu Chenju ended his training and carried his spear on his back. He bowed with his hands clasped. "Thank you for your support today, senior brother," Wang Xian asked with a smile. Finished training? Lu Chenju could not hide his joy. This trip to Magic City has been incredibly fruitful. First, he learned the pure Yang shield, and then, as a spectator, he watched the absolute peak perform spear technique, gaining inspiration during the observation, perfecting 6 harmony spear, understanding the heavenly heart mark, solidifying the spear's spiritual power, and finally achieving integration and comprehension of the spear light technique. In just one day, his proficiency in spear technique had transformed drastically. Wang Xian laughed. Martial arts cultivation, completely isolating oneself is not advisable. When you propose traveling the world to seek challenges and explore the ancient, both Master and I fully supported you. The two brothers then left. Dinglong Hall, a staff member watching the divine chariot fly away, expressed. What exactly did the kid learn from absolute peak spear techniques? Can he really train for half a day? Am I the only one who thought it was just basic spear technique? Another staff member said. Not just you. Right, I also didn't feel anything special. That's why we're not geniuses. On the divine chariot, Lu Chenju rested while looking at the martial arts tree. Please name your new martial art. White tiger breaking army spear. When it came to naming, Lu Chenju followed a principle of simplicity. If there's no need to change, then don't. Moreover, this integration wasn't a transformation of true skill. When transforming true skills, it would indeed be appropriate to change the name. White tiger breaking army spear, perfection. After the integration, the 4 major effects of the white tiger breaking army divine seed were further enhanced. Lu Chenju muttered to himself. Next, to perfect pear blossom spear technique and dropping spring spear technique to integrate true spear skill. This trip to the void realm of Eastern Pass is a great opportunity for practice. Eastern Pass, Changbai Mountain. Like Shushan, this place has been full of myths and legends since ancient times. Often hunters witness the traces of the heavenly pool water monster. Even rumors of fallen dragons. Of course, folk tales just listen for now. In ancient times, many tomb raiders searched this area for martial tomb. So-called martial tombs are the burial sites of strong martial artists, which may contain divine skills, secret manuals, divine weapon treasures, and other opportunities. After the establishment of New Dazia, private excavation of martial tombs was strictly forbidden. Some major martial tombs like Qin King's Earth Palace, 3 Stars Heaven Palace, Ma Wang's tomb, have been archaeologically excavated and developed into museums. Divine Chariot 7 smoothly descended, gently hovering over a man-made platform in the middle of Heavenly Pool, like Tehu. The junction of Changbai Mountain was also in the lake. Wang Xian, emanating the aura of a martial arts master, said. The main sect in the Eastern Pass region opposing the officials is called Eternal Heaven, worshipping the Supreme Lord of Eternity, also known as Mountain God. This trip to the Void Realm, apart from void things, we also need to be cautious of this Eternal Heaven. Soon, a figure in military uniform jogged over. Wang Xian smiled and said, I'm Wang Xian, direct inheritor of 3 Extreme Saint from Sioux City Dragon Marshal. We need to handle some matters in Changbai Mountain's Void Realm. We'll leave on our own after. He showed his credentials, and the officer's expression grew serious. Cloud Lean Skinny Tiger. Any martial arts master could hold a middle-level position in the military. This one before him was a martial arts genius, disciple of a great grandmaster. His status, not inferior to a regular grandmaster. The officer checked Lu Chenju's identity, his expression shifting slightly. Top scholar of Dragon City. Not long after, the two completed their entry registration smoothly. Top martial university identification was very useful. Chapter 379, 249 6 Harmonies Perfection, 4K/2. Changbai Mountain Void Realm. Once again in the familiar place, Lu Chenju gazed towards the heavens. The dark sea ebbed and flowed, without sun or daylight, oppressive and despairing. An indescribable sense of unease began to emerge. On his arm, the catastrophe bracelet gleamed. This was borrowed from the military by Wang Xian through his master's connections, normally unavailable for unofficial expedition operations. Wang Xian said, "Junior brother, even though you have the bracelet, don't stray too far from me. I'm not familiar with this region's void realm either. Let's head to Star River City first and find a guide." Lu Chenju nodded. There's no rush. From the last expedition, he had already witnessed the dangers of the void realm. Regardless of whether they could find treasures this time, safety came first. Boom, boom, boom. An armored vehicle, styled like a city bus, pulled into the station. It was the public transport heading to Star River City. Carrying a group of martial artists full of anticipation, the armored vehicle forged ahead through the fog. Soon, a large city appeared ahead. The city walls, towering 100 feet tall, sprawled like a massive beast upon the wilderness, with all sorts of mechanical creations roaring as they worked. Exoskeletal armors and armored vehicles formed an iron stream leaving the city, heading to the front lines to bombard the void things in the surrounding catastrophe-forbidden zones and prevent them from forming a void tide. Seeing all this, the pair sighed in relief. In this otherworldly land, technological creations were truly a source of security. Inside the city, compared to the newly established Jiangnan City, Star River City had evidently developed a military-centered social ecosystem. Under military control, many social martial artists and technicians lived long-term in the Void Realm, establishing various organizations within the city. Along the streets, various signs hung. Demon Hunting Office, Ghost Catcher Guild, Knife Catcher Association. Lu Chenju curiously took in everything around him. Wang Xian explained, martial artists in Star River City have particularly clear roles. Demon hunters typically hunt only demon creatures, and knife catchers usually deal with black knights or cults. No matter what, anything successfully killed allows one to exchange for battle merit with the military, and the military's merit is universally accepted across all of Starfire City. I remember you wanted to exchange for the cold silkworm robe. This might be a good chance to earn some merits. Wang Xian came to the Void Realm partly to help Lu Chenju find guarantees in Tiger King Valley, and also to accumulate merits to exchange for Xuan-grade heavenly materials and earthly treasures, aiding his advancement to Grandmaster. Before long, they arrived before a shop. Lu Chenju muttered, "Tomb Raider Office, Tomb Raider Captain, isn't that about tomb raiding?" Wang Xian chuckled. In old times it was. The civilian oddities may seem superstitious, but the feng shui knowledge they possess is somewhat useful for exploring the Void Realm. Lu Chenju said, "That makes sense, since satellites won't work here." Wang Xian replied, "Don't underestimate these tomb raiding professions. Their ancestors had preliminarily explored the Void Realm thousands of years ago, accumulating much knowledge about it. Dazia's exploration of the Void Realm also relies on these oddities. Come on, let me show you." Pushing open the door, it was as if they had entered an antique shop. A musty, decaying scent wafted over, and a stylish young woman with vintage curly hair, wearing a red-slit cheongsam, was polishing an antique bronze sword. The scent of perfume hit them overtly. Seeing the customers, the young woman turned around, slightly startled. Wang Xian. Wang Xian beamed a sunny smile and said, "Sister Hong, long time no see." Sister Hong put down the ancient sword and poured a cup of tea, asking, "Weren't you at the branch school?" Wang Xian patted Lu Chenju beside him and said, "I'm accompanying my junior brother for an errand." Sister Hong sized up Lu Chenju, her charm intrinsic. For Lu Chenju, who just practiced pure yang shield, being stared at by such a woman was a test. Sister Hong, appearing exquisitely alluring, was in reality a martial arts master. Sister Hong laughed. "Don't call me senior, it makes me sound old. Just call me sister." Lu Chenju took out the netherworld map and said, "Sister, I need a guide." Wang Xian added, "I will pay the cost." Sister Hong took the map, looked at it and stated, "The map is authentic, but the nameless valley mentioned is not within the safe boundaries of the oasis. We have to cross the oasis and delve deep into the catastrophe-forbidden zone for thousands of miles. Considering the journey including searching, resting, and fighting, the round trip might take half a month. Can you handle it, young man?" She and Wang Xian were both of the breakthrough third realm, naturally unconcerned. But looking at Lu Chenju, he seemed only at the level of martial arts end realm. Wang Xian laughed lightly. No worries, my junior brother will not hold us back. Sister Hong, you've been isolated in the void realm for a long time. Once you get out, you'll see how formidable my junior brother is. Sister Hong studied Lu Chenju carefully, her breath fragrant. All right then, we'll prepare for the journey today and set out tomorrow morning. You guys can stay here tonight, no need to look for another place. That night, Lu Chenju was practicing Heavenly Pile inside the house. Outside, Sister Hong and Brother Wang were catching up over drinks. His intuition told him that there must be some gossip between Brother Wang and Sister Hong. Dragon and Tiger Heavenly Pile, the 91st acupoint opened. After finishing his daily exercises, he fell into a deep sleep. The next day, early in the morning, a group left Star River City and walked towards the edge of the oasis. It was too dangerous to drive in the catastrophe-forbidden zone due to the numerous unstable factors. With the speed of a martial artist, walking was no slower than driving. After venturing 100 li into the catastrophe-forbidden zone, the mini tiger Tai Sui in Lu Chenju's mind opened its eyes, and the ancient sword on top of his head, like a compass, pointed towards the north. At the same time, a cold surge emerged in the Daling acupoint. Lu Chenju cautioned, there might be void things in the north. Naturally, the two experts, Sister Hong and Brother Wang, sensed it too. Sister Hong, with her beautiful eyes, glanced at Lu Chenju and asked, practice the Tiger Demon Tai Sui technique. Lu Chenju nodded. Sister Hong smiled and said, that cultivation technique is not simple. Have reached the third layer in such a short time. This Lu Chenju, just as Wang Xian said, truly a prodigy blessed by the heavens. Not long after, rustling sounds came from the bushes. Eyes green and shiny like fireflies lit up like lanterns. A pack of giant wolves, big as calves and drooling, emerged with narrow wolf heads that bizarrely had the faces of women, fangs outwardly displayed, their demeanor grotesque and eerie. Sister Hong said, just a common void human wolf. Lu Chenju drew his spear and said, Sister, let me handle this. Killing these demon creatures could be exchanged for money. None of the three contemplated retreating. Wang Xian also wanted to take this opportunity to train his junior brother. Sister Hong smilingly said, then be careful. Whoosh! Swift as an arrow released from the bow, with a surge of rolling energy, Lu Chenju's aura crashed forward like a great wave. His spear vibrated as he thrust forward, piercing the chest of a giant wolf, fiercely splitting it in two with a lift, eliciting a woman's sobbing as it fell into a pool of blood. Gulu gulu. The tiger gall spear absorbed the fresh blood, turning an eerie red. Behind him came sweeping yin wind. He didn't even look back but used the tiger whisker to sense and lock onto the position of the giant wolf, flipped his body like a sparrow, dodged, and with a turn of his spear he thrust. Pache, a high-risk giant wolf pinned like skewered mutton, was impaled in one strike. On the martial arts tree, notification sounds continuously beeped. Pear Blossom Spear Technique, beginner 23%, right arrow beginner 25%. Lu Chenju felt delighted inside. The familiar sensation had returned. Seeing this, Wang Xian leapt onto a tree. He simply practiced his stance while waiting. Sister Hong, with arms crossed, smiled and said, you are quite at ease. There's a nether-level wolf king nearby, plus these common giant wolves, more than 100 as a group for combat. Even in the end realm, it's hard to defend against. Wang Xian confidently smiled and said, this sea of enemies tactic is useless against my junior brother. Sister Hong, it's not good to get injured in such a remote place without nearby villages or stores. Wang Xian looked down, his lips curling up. Injured, not possible. Kill. Lu Chenju grew fiercer with the fight, his spear light slashing through the void like a dragon, almost every stab taking a giant wolf's life, some torn apart, others impaled. The effects of breaking army and battle blood inside the acupoints had begun to show. The more enemies, the stronger the spear skill. The more he killed, the stronger his spear skill became. Iron crotch skill and life spring, endlessly circulating. Tiger whisker and Tai Sui perception, watching in all directions. Lu Chenju, like a meat grinder, wielded his spear skill like a storm of pear flowers. No human wolf could get close before being intercepted, a single thrust passing straight through two. Unknowingly around him, a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood had formed. Tiger Gall greedily drank demon blood, its evil chi like demonic soldiers. Chapter 380, 250 Heavenly Tiger Skeleton, 4K. Oh, that's fine. Screams of women emanated from behind. A giant wolf as large as a water buffalo, with the long, narrow face of an old crone, attacked, engulfed by black winds and shrouded in a demonic fog. It was a nether-level great void beast from the Middle Realm, the Wolf King. Its sharp claws reached for Lu Chenju's back while he was too preoccupied to clone himself fighting other wolves, but the expected scene of flesh and blood tearing apart did not materialize. Instead, its pupils reflected a brilliant golden light, followed by an unimaginable rebounding force. Thump, the Wolf King flew backward, its face filled with disbelief. Whimpering, it attempted to flee. Whoosh, a streak of golden light sliced through the void faster than lightning. White tiger breaking army wind and thunder formation. Lu Chenju landed and, without looking back, retracted the tiger gall gun that flickered with electric sparks. The body of the Wolf King behind him had already split in two and collapsed to the ground. The Wolf King was instantly killed. All the wolves annihilated. Lu Chenju felt somewhat sentimental in his heart. The last time he was tested, even killing an ordinary great void beast required some effort. But now, killing the Wolf King was like slaughtering a dog. Atop the martial arts tree, the mastery prompt kept flashing. Wang Xian jumped down from the tree with a rather smug smile. How about my little junior brother, Red? Red's long eyelashes trembled slightly. 18 Arhat's golden body skill reached perfection. Wang Xian proudly replied. That's right. Red clapped her hands with a tone of surprise. So he's a master of both internal and external practices. Such masters fear nothing of numerical tactics. As long as the enemy's numbers aren't abnormal, with the passive defense power of a cross-training body, it's easy to break them down one by one. On the battlefield, Lu Chenju was harvesting wolf heads. High-risk demons could be exchanged for battle merit with the military, and this Middle Realm Wolf King had even left behind a void relic, the Wolf King's Claw, an excellent material for crafting cold fist blades, worth millions. The Void Realm really is a quick way to earn money. After cleaning up the battlefield, Lu Chenju looked as if he still hadn't had enough. His mind traveled inside the Tiger Gall Divine Spear, where the level of the blood pool rose, and the dog ghost bathed within, absorbing the power of the demon blood to grow. A winged giant tiger lay lazily powerful by the pool. The Tiger Gall gun, it's gotten stronger. One step closer to the Grandmaster Divine Weapon. The three left the battlefield and quickly moved on. Some time later, a figure enveloped in a black robe came to the graveyard of wolves. Her figure was slender, with a wasp waist and a beautiful face of a young girl unveiled by the black mask. Riding a creature with a human head and deer body, comparable to a third shackles breaker, and a pair of jade feet adorned with silver bells swayed gently, sending whiffs of fragrance in the air, her smile rippling like a warm spring breeze. Giggle, giggle, it's been so long since I've sensed the presence of living beings. Several days later, the three encountered another large group of void things. Man-sheep, as the name suggests. This was a group of demons with human heads and sheep bodies, sporting a pair of curved horns on their heads, charging with reckless abandon like bumper cars, hundreds of them, and three were nether-level great voids. Around Lu Chenju, golden light flourished, and his form was like an invisible golden bell standing, his presence immovable like the immovable Ming King, his steps echoing soundly, shaking the ground like Mount Tai. Wherever his spear passed, Man-sheep fell and did not rise again. Suddenly, a nether-level Man-sheep leaped high, its momentum like Mount Tai crashing down, with iron hooves trampling down. Lu Chenju speared to death the great void in front and deliberately leaned back. Golden light vibrated. The Man-sheep's massive body flew backward, and Lu Chenju, advancing with swift steps, transformed his spear into a skybound monkey, perforating its abdomen midair and blood rained down. Pear Blossom Spear Technique, Red Dragon Sky Piercing. Immediately after, Lu Chenju roared, flinging the Man-sheep onto the ground with his spear. Boom, the Man-sheep hit the ground, torn asunder. Lu Chenju exhaled a hot breath, his power shaking off the demon blood. Thud, thud, thud. The Tiger Gall gun drank heartily, truly gratifying. In his mind on the martial arts tree, the leaves of Pear Blossom Spear glimmered brightly. Inspiration strikes, doubling your efforts. Watching the retreating Man-sheep herd, Lu Chenju didn't pursue. Feeling the mood, he began practicing his spear skill right there, his spirit connecting with the heavenly heartmark, battling on the sandy plains. Kill! Lu Chenju danced in place amongst pools of blood and the desolate wilderness. His spear skill mastery continuously increased. Red sipped wolfberry water from her thermos, her eyes filled with surprise. He's struck by inspiration in the middle of combat. Wang Xian laughed. Some people are naturally destined to grow through battle. In ancient times, there was a general known as the god of slaughter. His cultivation progress was slow on normal days, but once he stepped onto the battlefield, he was invincible, achieving breakthroughs swiftly. This general eventually became a grandmaster of spear skills, and such a gift was known as the killing demonic body. It was also an upper-level martial bone Dao embryo, however, quite rare. Furthermore, those with such talent could easily lose themselves in endless slaughters and become possessed by demons. Of course, how my little junior brother compares to the killing demonic body is a far cry, so Wang Xian wasn't worried. Little junior brother's inspirations were always frequent. It was a symptom of excessively high comprehension. Wang Xian, basics must not be overlooked. Of course, the two experts didn't just wait idly. They practiced punches or stood as pose. Thus 4 hours passed. In the distance, there was a faint sound of thunder, with green light piercing the sky. Red, experienced as she was, spoke gravely. The green ghost thunder disaster is coming. We must go. Lu Chenju's moment of inspiration was still a little while away. But knowing the urgency, he decisively ended his spear skill practice. On the martial arts tree, prompts appeared. Pear Blossom Spear Technique, Mastery 45%, Right Arrow Mastery 46%. After achieving a new level in spear skill realm, his cultivation pace also stepped up. Coupled with inspiration and intense fighting, just 3 days were enough to master the first-class spear skill. Lu Chenju felt extremely refreshed, looking at Red and said, "Sorry, I was in the zone." Chapter 381, 250 Heavenly Tiger Skeleton, 4K/2. Red's sister always felt something off about what he said. "You say it comes and goes so easily. How is that any different from our monthly visitor? Let's go, we need to take a long detour." 1 week after entering the Void Realm, the three of them traveled day and night, relying on the dragon-seeking and acupoint-pointing technique passed down in Red's sister's family. They avoided many dangerous places and heavenly calamities and arrived in a tranquil valley. Wang Xian looked at Red's sister and smiled. "It's lucky we hired a guide. Everyone has their specialty. Without you, we brothers would easily have blundered into a heavenly calamity." Red's sister, impressive. Red's sister gave a charming laugh but said nothing. The valley was shrouded in a dense miasma. Red's sister, looking at the map, said, "This is the place, but as you know, lands with miasma are prone to nurturing powerful demon ghosts. Whether Nameless Valley is a treasure land or not, I'm not sure. What I can be certain of is, going deeper into the valley is dangerous." Wang Xian laughed and uttered a universally acknowledged truth. "We've come this far." Lu Chenju sighed. "Yes, we've already come this far. 7 days crossing the Forbidden Zone, trudging 1,000 miles. Along the way, who knows how many void things they had killed." Red sister said, "I'll lead in front." Wang Xian said, "Chenju, you follow Red sister, and I'll be behind you." Wang Xian was on full alert. He had promised his master to bring Chenju back in one piece. He put on the poison mask, and after checking their advanced protective suits, the three plunged into the mist, heading deep into the valley. A mile later, Red sister raised her hand to signal a stop. Ahead is a beehive of human-faced bees. Human-faced bees are a super-large colony of void things, expert in swarm attacks. Our advanced protective suits won't hold up for long, and the toxic fog they create as a group can corrode power, true chi, and even true gang. We need to dash through next, do not get entangled. The beehive extends 10 miles in radius below us. It's inexhaustible. Lu Chenju asked, "Sis, can the cross-training withstand the toxic fog?" Red sister replied, "It should, but still, it's better to be cautious." Red sister's long legs flexed, and then, like a peacock flying southeast, she leaped onto the treetops. Wang Xian also displayed his abilities and soared, while Lu Chenju used the swallow form body technique to fly into midair, trying his best to avoid the ground nests and not disturb the toxic bees. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As he passed above, Lu Chenju saw countless strange toxic bees below with human faces on their backs and their stingers gleaming with a faint light, clearly not to be trifled with. The toxic bees had keen senses, reacting to the vibrations in the air, and immediately many of them took flight, like a sweeping black wind that made one's scalp tingle. Red Sister urged, "Quick!" She used the air to propel herself forward, and simultaneously, splendid seven-colored true gang surged around her, her chi-po taking form, a divine and extraordinary blue peacock spreading its wings high in the sky. The powerful spiritual shockwave spread out, knocking many of the toxic bees from the air. Lu Chenju inwardly marveled, truly worthy of being a martial arts master. The next moment, something astonishing happened. The fallen bees flapped their wings and came at them again. Wang Xian frowned and asked, "No problem." Red Sister's voice came through. Spiritual attacks and sound waves are ineffective against the toxic bees because they are the lowest class of swarm void things, inherently mindless. All the toxic bees are controlled by the toxic bee matriarch, deep in the hive, comparable to a third shackles breaker. Wang Xian's true gang circulated, smashing one bee after another. "Should I delve underground and kill the matriarch?" Red Sister said. "No, you'll hardly find where the matriarch hides. Before that, you might get surrounded by countless toxic bees, and by the time you'd want to run, it would be too late." Ding, ding, ding. Sounds of metal clashing rang continually around Lu Chenju, caused by toxic bees striking their stingers against his protective suit, with a force that made the golden body shake like a machine gun. Above the martial arts tree, there was also an alert sound. The proficiency of his Ming King body had actually increased. That was a small surprise amid the misfortune. The three of them rushed forward with heads down, Lu Chenju grateful for his cross-training. Without it, relying solely on that power, he wouldn't have lasted long before being drained dry and left vulnerable. This valley was not a place for an ordinary martial artist to tread. If not for his senior brother accompanying him, he definitely wouldn't have come. Several minutes of running later, the toxic bees finally retreated. Behind them, the miasma was already filled with poison fog. Lu Chenju looked at the completely ruined advanced protective suit. If only he had a cold silkworm robe. Sister Hong revealed a look of joy and suddenly said, "At last." Lu Chenju and Wang Xian both looked ahead, dimly seeing a mysterious and solemn building hiding in the fog, a 7-story ancient tower with an exotic style. Wang Xian said, "This must be the relic of a lost civilization from the Void Realm." Sister Hong shook her head. "Perhaps, who knows if there are treasures?" Wang Xian's body lit up with a true gang barrier. "Junior brother, stay here, I'll go take a look." "Senior brother, be careful." Wang Xian, holding a divine weapon, carefully approached the base of the ancient tower. It was only up close that he could see that the tower seemed to be constructed from the bones of some colossal beast. Behind the ancient tower, there was also a gigantic beast skull with 2 horns on its head. Wang Xian's expression grew solemn. "Just the skull is 30 feet high. The strength of this beast in life, I fear, was no weaker than a grandmaster, perhaps even stronger." The beast had been dead for hundreds of years, yet its residual might was still terrifying. "And this beast's skull it somewhat resembles a tiger." Wang Xian called out, "Sister Hong, junior brother, come over." The tiger gall gun in Lu Chenju's palm trembled with a profound sense of familiarity rising in his heart, and under the connection of heart and mind, he also felt a touch of forlornness and desolation. Through the fog, he looked at the massive beast's skull. Cha-chihu. The outline of the skull was identical to the Cha-chihu by the blood pool. Lu Chenju, based on the origin of the divine weapon, reasonably speculated that the owner of the skull was likely an ancestor of the Cha-chihu that forged the divine weapon, not the same one. Tiger King Valley, being of average strength, couldn't possibly defeat such a giant beast, let alone possess the ability to forge its bones into a divine weapon. Wang Xian's senses spread out and he said, "Besides the beast's remains, the only plausible place for treasure is within that 7-story bone tower. Sister Hong, you're the expert, is there danger inside?" Sister Hong's gaze left the skull, and she assessed the bone tower with a grave look. "This bone tower and skull are integrated as one. My grandfather had explored similar remains in the Void Realm in his early years, and it should be some kind of array formation ritual." Wang Xian asked, "Do you understand it, Sister Hong? I've heard that your ancient mysterious professions generally have mastery over the art of Dungia, so you should be able to decipher arrays, right? Sister Hung laughed. Don't think we're too mystical. Essentially, we still rely on feng shui inspection methods based on mountain veins. This kind of array, it's not closely related to our martial arts, and according to official explanations, it's closer to the divine mysteries of evil gods. For a moment, they all ran into a difficulty. The Bone Tower's main gate was tightly shut, with no other entrance. Wang Xian said, "My main concern is that the Bone Tower might be suppressing some unrivaled fierce creature. Otherwise, we could just force it open with brute strength, but now it's tricky." Lu Chenju thought of something and said, "Let me try." He took out the tiger gall gun. "Come forth, dog ghost." In an instant, blood smoke curled up, transforming into a spectral shape of a human face heavenly dog. Sister Hong's expression subtly changed. "Heavenly dog. Rest assured, this is my divine weapon servant ghost, controlled by me. It is a spiritual body, well versed in passing through walls. Perhaps it can enter without damaging the ancient tower's structure." Wang Xian nodded slightly. "Worth a try." Sister Hong pondered and then said, "If anything changes, we'll retreat immediately." The dog ghost floated to the tightly shut bone tower gates. Instinctively sensing fear, the moment it touched the bone gate, its spiritual body fizzed with bubbles, its form flickered, and it howled mournfully as it left. Lu Chenju took back the weakened dog ghost and said helplessly, "It won't work." No wonder the people from Tiger King Valley returned empty-handed, leaving behind only a map for posterity. Wang Xian frowned and said, "Junior brother, this place is more complicated than I imagined. For safety, let's find our master. With his great grandmaster strength, he should be able to force it open." Outside the valley, woo. Eerie wolf howls rose and fell, and the fog swept away like tides, revealing a creature towering 3 stories tall, with a human head and deer body, leisurely breaking through the fog. Its antlers branched out like tentacles, spreading into the night sky. Chapter 382, 251 Fighting a Horde of Monsters, 4K for monthly tickets, please subscribe. The creature with the head of a man and the body of a deer moved slowly like a mountain god, its entire body shimmering with a sacred yet sinister glow, like moonlight spilling onto the earth. It fixed its eyes forward, divine light scattering the approaching swarm of poison bees, rippling outward in circles. Behind the deer-headed creature followed a pure white hedgehog with a human face, as big as a cow. A graceful human-faced fox strutted. A human-faced weasel with a narrow face stood on 2 legs, its expression strange, grinning ear to ear. A massive snake with a human head raised its body twice the height of a 2-story building and meandered forward. And there was the grotesque ratman, short as a goblin with protruding teeth and shedding fur, crawling stealthily in the shadows, whispering to each other. "The mountain god is passing, dear master is present." 5 immortals lead the way, a myriad of demons follow. Chained by heavenly realm, the pool of eternal life. From within the mist, a hazy human voice could be heard, and the silhouette of a black-robed figure, barefoot, stood atop the head of the gigantic deer-headed creature. There were wind chimes tied around the delicate ankles, their sounds clear and transcendent. "My children, surround this valley," a languid voice rang out. The black-robed young woman confidently rode the giant deer forward. With a wave of her hand, streaks of divine light undulated outward. The poison bees that attacked on sight bewilderingly flew away without attacking her. In front of the bone tower, ding ding ding. Lu Chenju's ears twitched. Under the boost of the wind speaker, the breeze brought the distant sound of wind chimes. Inside the inner scenery land, Tiger Tai Sui, who had been sharpening his blade, also instinctively felt a sense of danger, his mind's ancient sword spinning crazily like a compass disturbed by a magnetic field. An unprecedented intense chill emerged from the Daling acupoint. "Danger!" Lu Chenju looked at Brother Wang and Sister Hong. Both sensed something amiss. Wang Xian said gravely, "There's someone intruding from outside the valley." Sister Hong observed the surroundings, her beautiful eyes knitted tightly as she said, "We're far from Star River City, so it's unlikely to be the military. It could be demon folk from eternal heaven. They excel in controlling demonic creatures and often roam this domain." Having said that, Sister Hong surveyed the terrain around the valley and spoke. "Let's withdraw. We should not get entangled with eternal heaven in the wild." Wang Xian clenched his long spear, his killing intent fierce, like a fierce tiger. He grabbed Lu Chenju's arm and said, "Brother, let's go." The next moment, he picked up Lu Chenju, transforming into a streak of white light, ghost-like, rapidly following behind Sister Hong, who was dashing forward, and quickly moved away from the bone tower area. Hoo-hoo-hoo, the chi-blood wind howled, the forest quickly receding like rapids. Lu Chenju was being carried away, as if a mother tiger was running with her cub in her jaws. He couldn't help but feel resigned within. As expected, where in this world could there be such a treasure? If there were indeed any valuable findings, it wouldn't be his turn to stumble upon them. It was good that he hadn't held too high a hope from the start. His master had already prepared him. Boom! Suddenly, a collision that rattled the valley erupted ahead. Sister Hong's sturdy clothing was torn, her beautiful form wrapped in the brilliant seven-colored true gang, and she was flung backwards onto a mountain cliff. Sister Hong leapt down from the cliff, her complexion slightly pale, crimson blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. She reflexively drew her void blade longsword, her evenly toned arms and legs tense with muscle, her veins and bones resonating with an elegant and soaring peacock's cry. Wang Xian, prepare for the breakout. Wang Xian put Lu Chenju down and smiled. Let's fight, junior brother, consider it a trial. Trust me, I will make sure to get you out alive, I promised our master. Boom! The surging chi-blood of a martial arts master at his peak rose to the heavens, and amidst the tumultuous aura like floods, the form of a giant tiger clad in scale armor manifested, its gaze commanding. Wang Xian stood with his spear before the giant tiger. His gaze was pure, not a trace of fear in his eyes. Aside from his master and Lu Feng, Lu Chenju had never seen such terrifying tiger form aura. Beneath Brother Wang's gentle demeanor lay an indescribable stubborn fearlessness. Atop the mountain ridge, moonlight began to ascend, and the figure behind the attack that had sent Sister Hong flying was revealed. It was a terrifying giant deer, the size of a small hill. Its limbs were like pillars, hooves like hammers. The deer's head was human-like, its face red as the mountain god's ghoulish visage, its antlers like the feelers of a giant demon from the North Sea, seemingly boneless and waving fluidly. Atop the deer's head, the barefoot young woman smiled, her eyes curved in delight. You've certainly led me to a good place. Sister Hong spoke coldly. It's indeed one of the demon folk from eternal heaven. The girl laughed. No need for formality, just call me Xiao Yu. From a young age, she had been led into the void realm, her familiarity with this place even surpassing that of the human world. Her divine wisdom was extremely high, making her one of the potential candidates for goddess of eternal heaven. She roamed the land of eternal life, taking pleasure in hunting martial artists. Even when facing two martial arts masters, she remained composed, indicating her formidable strength. Boom! Wang Xian had no interest in wasting words with the demon folk. His right foot stomped the ground, kicking up a large amount of earth and stones. Holding the spear, he thrust it upwards, shooting out a gun light that appeared 100 yards away in an instant. The girl's mouth curved upward, not ducking or evading. The giant deer's antlers, akin to tentacles, formed a natural barrier, blocking the force of the violent explosion. The antlers fractured inch by inch, and then healed inch by inch. It stared at Wang Xian with a mocking smile. Wang Xian's battle-intent soared, and together with the manifested tiger's essence, scale armor, and intention, a tiger roar rang throughout the forest, the sound waves brushing over the hills, causing a multitude of lurking lesser void things to disintegrate. Sister Hong, I'll deal with this demon folk and the giant deer. Wang Xian realized that there were still many shadow-level great void creatures around. Otherwise, he would have preferred to join forces with Sister Hong in battle. The demon's strength was somewhat strong, her chi mechanism and the giant deer beneath her feet fused into one, almost approaching that of a grandmaster. If only Brother Li were here. He vividly remembered, standing side by side with Liao against the almost demon king. The girl chuckled lightly, her jade feet gently tapping on the deer's head, and like a bulldozer, the giant deer toppled a large section of the forest, the boundless demon energy rampant, a wild heavenly demon wind blowing chaotically. Chapter 383. 251 Fighting a Horde of Monsters, 4K for monthly tickets. Please subscribe /2. Wang Xian swung his long spear, tearing open the demon energy domain. Amidst his quick and agile movements, dense spear lights exploded all around, slicing chunks of flesh from the massive deer. The massive deer seemed unconcerned, as it manipulated its antlers like a long whip that tore through the air aiming to kill. From the plum blossom patterns on its body, human-headed jade rabbits emerged, either attacking Wang Xian or burrowing into the deer's wounds, rapidly healing them. Wang Xian's eyes narrowed. An undying body. He had slain many great demons of grievance level before, but he had never encountered one as strange as this massive deer. Elsewhere, with a light flick of her seven-colored true gang-covered sword, Red Sister generated a sharp sword energy breeze that swept through the forest like a flying sword, toppling trees and annihilating all sorts of void things. A giant bear with a human face leapt down from the cliff, its huge body like a van, pressing down with the weight of Mount Tai, its claws aiming at Red Sister's head. However, Red Sister, with a backhand sword strike, pierced through a great void, ambushing her from behind, blasting it into nothing with the seven-colored true gang. Then, with a twist and a spin of her slender waist and hips, her round and powerful long legs created an arc of light as she kicked upwards. Thud! The giant bear was kicked through, exploding like a shattered snowman. Red Sister exhaled a breath of peculiar fragrance, and looking at the tide-like surge of void things, she leisurely said, "Xiao Lu, your chance to make big money has come." Lu Chenju, holding his spear, smiled and said, "When else would you get a chance to encounter so many demons? Unlike ghost creatures, demons could potentially give rise to relics. Not to mention, they could also be exchanged for battle merita using tokens. Many demon materials could also fetch a good price." Red Sister said, "The enemy has come prepared. I'll try my best to block any void things above the shadow level for you and leave the rest to you. Also, stay on guard and don't stray too far from me." Lu Chenju released the dog ghost. "Sister, be careful too, and look after my senior brother as well." Lu Chenju understood. The hordes of demons across the mountains paled in comparison to that massive deer and the girl. Red Sister chuckled lightly. "I know." She floated through the woods like a seven-colored peacock. Lu Chenju roared loudly, his domineering aura killing a group of petty void things on the spot, causing them to bleed from their seven apertures and die. Those that didn't die were left stunned in place. It would be great if Cold Mountain Elder were here to shout as well. Amidst the danger, he carried on unhurriedly and started to use the renowned pear blossom spear technique from the Yang family, deepening his understanding of the spear strategy by connecting with the heavenly heartmark of the ancient battlefield in his mind. From his mind, he could hear the teachings of his senior brother. The pear blossom spear is known for its density like a storm of pear blossoms, making it the best spear technique for facing multiple enemies on the battlefield. In olden times, the grandmasters of the Yang family, relying only on this spear technique, repeatedly charged in and out of the enemy troops, seizing the enemy head as easily as reaching into a bag. Immersed in his spirit, Lu Chenju treated the woods as a battlefield, the battle intent and killing aura that had been suppressed during his long dormancy in school now unleashed without reservation. A fox with a jade face and human head, ghost-like in appearance, exhaled a puff of pink mist. Those enveloped by the mist would sink into an environment of lust and become inextricable. Above lust, a knife looms. Giggling. The fox giggled coyly as its body swelled, muscles bulging, and a pair of bloody, ghostly claws reached out of the fog, attempting to disembowel the humans inside. Pudge! Blood mist sprayed as a eerie blood gun pierced through the ghost claw. Lu Chenju's bulky figure dispersed the pink fog, and heat surged out of his pores incessantly, like a barrier. Pitiful tricks. His arms grew thicker as his veins bulged out like a strangling python, exerting immense power. The long spear in his hand spun, wrapping up the fox demon's body and violently smashing it to the ground. Pear blossom spear technique, dragon turnover. The fox demon's body exploded, turning into a puddle of flesh. A great void from the initial realm, dead. Pear blossom spear technique, mastery 56%, right arrow mastery 57%. On the martial arts tree, proficiency continuously updated. Lu Chenju looked back, the dog ghost breathing green flames, a heat wave clearing the space, turning a group of demons into charred corpses, even a middle realm great void screaming miserably as it died on the spot. Lu Chenju breathed a sigh of relief. This demon ghost is indeed not weak. It is, after all, a great void of the end realm, also a good helper in combat. He and the dog ghost, one in front and the other backing him up, stood back to back. The tiger gall long spear operated like a meat grinder, obliterating large numbers of common demons, with blood raining down from the sky. Before the barrier of heaven and earth, killing a martial artist skilled in both internal and external martial arts would require overwhelming numbers to exhaust his strength. If not for cross-training, ordinary martial artists wouldn't dare to act like Lu Chenju. Even if protected by flawless power, generating power is extremely draining. It's manageable in the short term, but prolonged periods risk exhaustive depletion of power. Once the power runs out, relying on the body of a martial artist is stronger than common demons, but only marginally. Under the varied assault of demons, injuries are likely, leading to a vicious cycle that results in being devoured by countless demons soon after. This is how ants can kill an elephant. However, among the present demons, there were not a few great voids. Whoosh! Suddenly, a cold light ripped through the air, a rusted but extraordinary ancient sword, stained with blood and emitting decaying golden energy. The wielder was a Taoist in the form of the dwarf-like Taoist Huang Daxian, whose presence was terrifying, comparable to a great demon of the End realm. Clang! The long sword hummed as its blade aimed at Lu Chenju. Lu Chenju blocked with his spear, his tiger's mouth trembling, his eyes slightly shocked. This demon knows swordsmanship, and this ancient sword is a divine weapon. What followed was the rust on the ancient sword being shaken off, revealing bursts of radiant light beneath. Wave Heart. Realizing the origin of the demon ghost, he understood. This scrawny swordsman in the guise of Huang Daxian must have been a swordsman before his demise, perhaps tainted by evil skills. He must have been a renowned hero in ancient times, otherwise, he wouldn't possess a divine weapon. Spanning across time, Lu Chenju and the Taoist swordsman crossed spear and sword. Lu Chenju's long spear struck fiercely, like sudden violent storms, thrusting intensively. Huang Daxian was agile, dodging with his sword. Lu Chenju's spear grew sharper as Huang Daxian circled to his back, slashing at Lu Chenju's ankles. Lu Chenju leaped and turned, thrusting downward. Pear Blossom Spear Technique, Green Snake Spits Venom. The intangible spear momentum locked onto Huang Daxian, who stuck his buttocks into the air. A cloud of earthy yellow poisonous mist, followed by a foul smell bursting upwards like a mini mushroom cloud. Lu Chenju stepped on thin air, dodging with moon step. His cross-training body feared no physical attacks, only various poisonous mists and evil skills. Although such things might not hurt him, it was better to avoid them when possible. Huang Daxian missed his strike, hid beneath a giant werewolf demon leveraging his agility. Lu Chenju's long spear descended from above, piercing through the werewolf. Taking advantage of Lu Chenju's spear retrieval, Huang Daxian floated out, thrusting upward with his sword. White rainbow piercing the sun. Lu Chenju dodged the sword light, removing the spear as his hands glowed with golden light and clamped down like giant pincers onto the divine weapon. His body landed heavily like a golden bell. Mystic Tiger Buff, Ming King body opened. The expression of the Taoist swordsman Huang Daxian changed. Lu Chenju grinned, revealing a chilling smile. Bet you didn't expect this. Tiger Fist is what I'm best at. His wide sleeves burst as his muscles expanded. His palms slid down and smashed powerfully onto Huang Daxian's claws. The innate strength roared explosively, causing Huang Daxian excruciating pain as he held the divine weapon Wave Heart, stabbing towards Lu Chenju's neck. Roar, Heavenly Destiny Mystic Tiger Fist. Lu Chenju bellowed, his fists lifted heavenward, elbows striking downward. As the divine weapon came inches away from his neck, Huang Daxian's upper body split open. Its dull yellow eyes lost their gleam, falling to the ground. Lu Chenju examined it briefly, tucking the divine weapon Wave Heart into his belt and taking along the Mountain Lord Fist blade. His figure soared like a swift, swooping low. He found the werewolf pierced by the tiger gall spear, tore open its chest with one claw and split it in two with both claws. He held the long spear, his body slightly crouched, ready to spring into action. On the martial arts tree, Pear Blossom Spear shone brilliantly. Inspiration, twice the result with half the effort. Lu Chenju exhaled a hot breath, sparks flickering between his muscles. In the forest, more and more demons appeared. Snake, hedgehog, mouse, fox, weasel. The 5 outer demons have assembled. Chapter 384, 252 Assist Me in Cultivation, 4K. Wang Xian and the giant deer, the young girl's battle had escalated to climax. As a disciple ranking second on the hidden dragon list, he single-handedly battled two who had achieved the third shackles breaker. The young girl danced, her anklets tinkling crisply. Gorgeous and colorful divine arts exploded in the night sky. Unbeknownst to Wen, her slender legs had transformed into bloody tentacles, deeply embedding into the flesh beneath the giant deer as if they had grown together. The giant deer's physical body was exceptionally strong. Although Wang Xian had not engaged in cross-training, the Nine Shadows spear he wielded was a Grandmaster divine weapon, possessing immense power. The deer-like tentacle antlers collided with the long spear, sparking flames and surprisingly withstanding the divine weapon. However, its most troublesome ability was its nearly indestructible weird power. The wounds Wang Xian inflicted on it could heal during battle. Had it been any other at the same realm of the Great Void, even rivaling a demon king, it would have been sliced to death 1,000 times over. The young girl's bell-like laughter rang out. "Mortal, I am quite fond of you. If you are willing to serve me wholeheartedly as a male servant by my side, I can spare your life and we can share eternal bliss. Have you seen those sword-wielding demons? They have lived for several hundred years." Nizio was sincere. She truly had her eyes on Wang Xian. In her words, naturally charming, coupled with evil skill illusion technique, she was like a demoness bringing disaster to the nation. With such tactics, she had successfully crushed the will of many martial artists and taken them as devoted followers. Wang Xian swept away the mist with his long spear, riding the tiger form Qi through the air, his divine spear like an angry dragon overturning rivers. An invisible force tore through the void, like divine punishment descending from the heavens. The young girl raised her hand, her fingertips radiating divine light that formed into a canopy. She blocked Wang Xian's attack, her face icy. "I'll give you one more chance." Wang Xian spat and laughed. "Pa, what kind of thing are you to think of taking me?" Wang Xian had not a trace of evil thoughts in his heart. In his heart, there was only the endless path of martial arts and the companionship of his sect and friends. He was an orphan, his only kin being his master. His parents had perished in a virtual disaster. Through tough passes, my heart is as firm as iron. The unyielding martial spirit repelled the demoness's spiritual attack. Boom, Wang Xian lunged, his spear piercing like bamboo through the giant deer's chest. Crash, endless antlers surged toward him, submerging Wang Xian. The young girl tapped her toes on the ground, her voice cold. "Eat him." The deer-faced creature grinned sinisterly, the tips of its antlers gleaming coldly with sharp weapons that stabbed at Wang Xian's protective true gang, spreading cracks. Wang Xian's expression turned icy as he fully thrust 9 shadows deep into the giant deer's chest. Shadow Kill. 9 Shadow Divine Spear had 3 major divine features, with Shadow Kill being the most powerful but also the most taxing on the divine weapon. The spear vibrated violently, splitting into illusions, each one condensing into a lance until 9 spear shadows exploded with a rumble. In an instant, boundless light burst forth within the giant deer. Boom! Its body cracked open, turning into chunks of flesh scattered across the mountains, only its head and tentacles still entwining Wang Xian. Without dodging or hesitating, he thrust his spear through its head, lifting both the young girl and the deer head as his body flew toward the direction away from the scattered flesh. Amongst the forest, the wriggling chunks of flesh grew vague human faces and bloody limbs, wailing in agony, rolling toward Wang Xian like tadpoles seeking their mother. The vitality of this demon was terrifying to the extreme. Wang Xian landed, his long spear piercing through the deer head toward the white bone tower. The young girl sneered. "The mountain god will not die, you're wasting your efforts." Her body and the deer master merged into one, now inseparable. However, she had great confidence in the life force of the deer master. No one less than a grandmaster could kill the deer master. If the deer master were not dead, neither would she perish. Suddenly, a scorching heat wave burned its way toward her, her clothes turning to ash, revealing a shocking body composed of blood-flesh tentacles. She was no longer human. Dear master, the deer was the master, she was merely a vassal. Only then did the young girl realize something was wrong with the white bone tower. She screamed heartbreakingly, her face distorted. "You can't kill me." As her words fell, her body dissolved into a pool of blood, blending completely into the deer master's head. It floated in the air, blood lights shooting from its eyes. Wang Xian couldn't dodge in time, and in an instant, a blood light pierced through his true gang armor like a bullet through his left chest. In a flash, Wang Xian protected his heart with true gang, shifting it slightly to avoid the terrifying blood light. The blood light exploded through his body and dissipated into nothingness. Cough, cough. Wang Xian tore off his training clothes, revealing a robust upper body. The wound where the heart pulsated severely, fine flesh buds slowly wriggling and sprouting. At this realm, the life spring could continuously supply healing power. Given enough time, along with great medicine, the injury could heal. Yet the Deer Master clearly wouldn't give Wang Xian the chance. Seizing this opportunity, its sky-covering antler tentacles danced, as if an evil god had arrived, a terrifying atmosphere pervading. Wang Xian heavily protected his wound with true gang. He planted his long spear into the ground, his fists wrapped in fierce true gang punching the sky, his wild fist wind clearing the fog, tearing the night sky. He was going to use Tiger Claw to rip apart this deer head. As they battled fiercely, the flowing blood of the Deer Master transformed into rivers flowing upstream, quietly merging into the white bone tower, with specks of red light twinkling upward. Elsewhere, Pear Blossom Spear sea floor moon capture. The head of the Tiger Gall spear plowed the ground, the spear body bending like a half-moon before snapping straight in an instant, fierce wind breaking through the air. A spear light exploded at a giant python's vulnerable spot, shattering the scales as hard as metal, exposing blood-soaked flesh and bones. Chapter 385, 252 Help me with cultivation, 4K/2. Crack. Lu Chenju leapt up, his long spear slashing downward, cutting the giant snake in two like a zipper being ripped apart, its blood spraying the sky as it writhed, falling into a pool of its own blood. Gurgle, the snake's head was slain by the spear. The Middle Realm Snake Demon dead. Pear Blossom Spear, small success 19%, right arrow small success 20%. Lu Chenju could no longer pay attention to the changes in the martial arts tree. All he wanted to do was kill, kill, kill. To exterminate all demons, to slaughter all ghosts, to restore peace to the human world, to ensure the safety of his friends and family, to return the bright and clear universe. Demon ghosts must die. Swoosh! His long spear sliced down from above, like the Milky Way falling from the night sky, illuminating the heavenly heart, with spear light glittering all over the sky, turning into a torrential downpour of pear blossom needles raining down. Pear Blossom Spear, heavenly maiden scattering stars. Thud, thud, thud. One after another, a rain of blood blossoms soared into the sky. A field of rat demons twitched in their pools of blood. Drenched in demon blood, Lu Chenju's tiger-like eyes surveyed his surroundings. End-realm rat demons, initial realm snake demons, initial realm porcupine demons, middle realm fox demons, middle realm yellow great sage. All were annihilated. This battle was utterly satisfying. He took a moment to consume a rejuvenation pill. The potent medicinal effect healed the internal injuries caused by the mob of demons attacking him, and beneath his tattered, advanced protective suit, the wounds on his flesh healed and scabbed over. The golden body was far from invincible. The path of cross-training still had a long way to go. As his physical injuries healed, Lu Chenju felt a bit less weary. The black bracelet on his wrist emitted a soft glow, soothing his spirit. This inconspicuous spiritual artifact had helped him tremendously, especially in warding off the fox demon's unpredictable illusion technique attacks. Puff, puff, puff. Like snowflakes, black flames descended from the sky, charring the vegetation and setting dry leaves alight upon landing, distorting the air. Lu Chenju waved his long spear and floated around, gracefully dodging most of the black flames with the swallow form and tiger form movement techniques. Yet some landed on him, dissipating under his innate strength, leaving noticeable craters on his cross-training golden body. The black flames were eerie, and Lu Chenju braced himself. Amidst the miasma, a woman's light laughter could be heard. A figure appeared, with the front of a human but the back of a black fox head, wearing revealing black gauze. Slender and enchanting legs stretched out from under the airy fabric. Every movement was captivating to the heavenly heart. Another fox demon. Lu Chenju had become numb to the killing. Little brother is quite handsome, and I quite like that, the demon spoke in human tongue, its intelligence clearly far superior to other great void demons, its dangerous aura at least that of the end realm, verging on the shadow level. The double-faced fox demon revealed two tails fluttering behind her. She regarded Lu Chenju and said with a nonchalant smile, "Why don't you spend the spring night with me, cultivating the grand Tao of yin-yang together to aid my cultivation? Once I achieve the supreme heavenly demon's body, I'll crown you as king. Lu Chenju regulated his strength, replying calmly. Aid your cultivation, it's more like you aiding mine. The fox demon did not rush to attack and covered her mouth with a light laugh. That's not out of the question. What sort of cultivation position would you like? Your words remind me of someone, the great monk from the Gold Mountain Monastery 1,000 years ago. That heartless wretch had my ancestor help him in his practice, and he did achieve the great Vajra Heavenly Dragon Arhat fruit position, becoming the world's #1 great grandmaster. But then, he turned around and had those stinking monks hunt down and burn alive all my fox kin. At the end of her tale, the fox demon's face twisted with ferocity. Your humans truly deserve to die. Lu Chenju asked evenly. How did your ancestor help the great monk? Naturally, she imprisoned him in the Kinkyu illusion realm. He. The fox demon disappeared instantly, reappearing like smoke behind Lu Chenju, her sharp ghostly claws wrapping around the man's chest, redolent with masculine aura. With a long inhalation, she seemed intent on sucking away Lu Chenju's life essence. Her narrow fox-human face sinisterly smiled from behind. Little brother, would you like me to help you in your cultivation? Roar, an invisible force erupted, carrying with it the mystic tiger spirit. The fox demon, startled, floated away. With a smile tugging at the corner of her mouth and hand pressed against her ample chest, she said, So rough, but I like it. Swoosh. To greet it was the unstoppable tiger gall golden spear. As a great sun rose in Lu Chenju's belly, boundless essence surged forth like a red dragon spewing forth. A heroic spirit sprang up in Lu Chenju's heart. In ancient times, grandmasters who refined their bodies through hard qi-gong killed demon foxes with their mighty spears beneath them. Today, with the help of this demon fox, I shall temper my pure yang child true yang qi. The unbreakable Taoist once said that practicing the pure yang shield was not only about body refinement but also about refining heart. If a person could resist the inherent temptation of the 7 emotions and 6 desires, it would be akin to forging martial arts will. Mundane women could no longer move Lu Chenju's heart. Thus, they could not serve as a test to his resolve. This end-realm charming fox, however, was quite suitable. In the past, a monk from the Gold Mountain Monastery withstood the temptations of the ancient fox demon and the green-white demon king. Mere two-tailed fox demon, flaunt all you want. If I am tempted, consider it my loss. Demon, aid my cultivation. Lu Chenju let out a great roar as he thrust with his golden spear. The spear light rolled like the Milky Way pouring down. The great spear struck like a pillar holding up the heavens. The demon fox turned into smoke to dodge, and amidst the smoke which condensed above Lu Chenju's head, a pair of pale, fleshy thighs emerged, turning soft and winding around Lu Chenju's head like a jade serpent. What a pity, though your spear is firm, it can't pierce me. Giggle, giggle, giggle. A fragrant wind hit his face, brimming with the spirit of spring. Lu Chenju silently remarked, That old fox is indeed seductive. No wonder so many scholars and literati have gone mad for them throughout the ages. He lifted his golden spear, sweeping a whirlwind across, his power scattering across the sky. The demon fox yelped in pain, retracted its fair legs, and 2 tails wrapped with poison-laden smoke charged at him. Lu Chenju thrust with his spear, but it was caught by a fox's claw. An enchantingly irresistible voice came through. Such a lovely spear, I shall unapologetically accept it. The demon fox pulled hard, and a tremendous force came through. Lu Chenju, unstable, simply let himself be propelled forward as the mountain lord fist blade unsheathed, stabbing into the void. I'm behind you, oh. The figure of the demon fox before Lu Chenju dispersed. This demon fox was the strongest enemy he had encountered so far, primarily because it was adept at escape skills and virtualization, making it extremely difficult to handle. Dog ghost, get out here. Lu Chenju bellowed, and the translucent figure of the dog ghost, which had visibly diminished in form, emerged from the tiger gall long spear. After the fierce battle just now, this creature was beaten miserably by the great void and was not something Lu Chenju wished to easily let die, considering it still had its uses. Thus, he took it in. Noticing the dog ghost's form, the demon fox's expression changed slightly. Heavenly dog. Even the weakest heavenly dog possessed the strength of the third realm. These demons, to some extent, were the blood descendants of Forbidden Zone entities, possessing unpredictable natural abilities and divine powers. Some mighty ones could even rise to become demon kings, great demon kings, or demon emperors. 1,000 years ago, the blood heavenly dog emerged, wreaking havoc on the human world until it was driven back to the void realm by a monk from the Gold Mountain Monastery. It was heard that the blood heavenly dog returned not long ago, only to be vanquished by the cold mountain elder. It was uncertain what relationship this heavenly dog had with the blood heavenly dog. As soon as the dog ghost appeared, it spewed green flames, employing various minor evil skills against the demon fox. Though ineffective, they did keep the demon at bay. The two were evenly matched in strength, both of end realm. Lu Chenju took this opportunity to annihilate a group of approaching rat demons. Then, he channeled half of his golden power into the long spear, causing it to hum and tremble. He burst from the ground, his right foot shattering the vacuous whirlwind as he shot out, turning into a dazzling tempest of wind and thunder forged of golden light. This move he had always held back without releasing. Ordinary great voids were not worth the effort. In an instant, the golden light pierced through the demon fox's body. However, since it had mastery over the fogging technique, it did not die instantly but instead teleported far away to reform, its face aghast. Damn it! Under the service of the Deer Master, its strength was second only to second realm demons. Following the Deer Master in this realm, it had hunted many martial artists and never seen one so ferocious. The demon fox knew it could not win. Its illusion techniques were useless against this man. Moreover, it feared the tiger-headed, tiger-brained heavenly dog even more. It waved its tail, and tufts of fox fur fluttered, turning into a sky of dark flames. A figure swung its spear to fend off the dark flames, then leaped high using the spear's rebound off the ground, shooting forward like an arrow released from its bow, its lethal fist blade unsheathed. Lu Chenju roared, "Subdue the rivers!" An invisible force field swept across instantly. There was nowhere to hide. In a moment, every non-great void demon within 30 feet around him fell silent, breathless. The demon fox's gaze solidified, pausing for a moment. Crack, the fist blade pierced through its skull. The double-headed demon fox's head split in two. Its narrow fox eyes lost their luster. Chapter 386, 253 Full Harvest 3K. Phew! Lu Chenju exhaled a hot breath, his eyes flickering like electric flames. He landed on the ground and tore the fox demon's corpse to shreds. He pulled out the tiger gall divine spear that was stuck in the ground, his gaze lowered. On the martial arts tree, proficiency was constantly updating. Pear blossom spear technique, small success 23%, right arrow small success 24%. There was still a long time left for the inspiration to last. Lu Chenju looked toward the valley, where a towering tiger aura was locked in battle with a colossal deer-headed monster, the thick scent of blood permeating the heaven and earth. I wonder how my senior brother is doing. He felt a bit worried. At this time, Sister Hong had also finished her fight. Sister Hong, with her 7 colored pupils, looked at Lu Chenju. "You stay here. I'll go check on Wang Xian. I've sensed around, and there shouldn't be any great void creatures above the shadow level nearby. If you encounter any danger, just call for me." Sister Hong soared away, as graceful as a peacock. Lu Chenju didn't waste any time either, hunting for void things in the nearby woods, honing his spear skill, and aiming to perfect one more art before leaving the void realm. Once he did that, he could soon integrate true skill-level spear techniques. At that time, the spear technique's power would undergo a qualitative leap. With the aid of the divine weapon, who else but him could challenge those below the breakthrough realm? Meanwhile, in Guangdong, in the southern peninsula region bordering others, the streets were filled with man-made handsome men and beautiful women. Deep within a conglomerate skyscraper, a middle-aged man dismissed the female stars from his bed and stood before the skylight, hands behind his back, overlooking the city's nightscape. A resounding voice echoed in his mind. "The number 7 holy daughter has been confirmed eliminated. Prepare a new goddess candidate promptly. We must create the most perfect human vessel for our Lord's descent." As the voice faded, the man furrowed his brow. The 7th holy daughter was his daughter, dedicated to the deities early on. Suddenly, a jade token on his chest shattered. The man's complexion changed, his eyes becoming dark and gloomy. Xiaoyu is dead. After a short while, a handsome, long-haired man with the air of a male star, wearing a baseball cap, walked in. He bowed his head and greeted. "What are your orders, master?" The middle-aged man said. "Go to Dezia to find a new holy daughter. God says, the Holy Daughter will descend upon Jiangnan. Within the valley, Wang Xian and Sister Hong, two formidable experts, joined forces to attack the colossal deer-headed monster. True Gang clashed with demonic power, igniting fierce sparks, with human and demon blood scents intermingling. The deer-headed monster was truly like a mountain god. Its flesh, sliced up by Wang Xian, was bizarrely reassembling, with flesh buds surging and blood and tissue regenerating. Sister Hong, drained and pale, said, "It just never ends." Wang Xian's mood was heavy. This deer-headed monster was absolutely the strongest demon he had ever encountered. He was sure that even a grandmaster would have to exert some effort to slay it. The regeneration of flesh was too abnormal. Wang Xian suddenly asked, "My junior brother is fine, right?" Sister Hong said, "He's fine." Wang Xian said, "Sister Hong, cover me, I'm about to use divine skill." "Okay." Sister Hong, trusting Wang Xian, had her peacock aura ablaze behind her. Her chi blood surged, clearly using some ascension secret technique, and such techniques generally come with a price. Seeing this, Wang Xian said, "I'll compensate you with 100 spirit fruit when we return." Sister Hong chuckled, "Let's make it back alive first." With the peacock's feathers shining, Sister Hong took to the sky, engaging the deer-headed monster with flesh-to-fist impact. As an expert of elephant form fist lineage, when it came down to desperation, she often resorted to fists. Wang Xian's eyes turned blood red, his blood boiling within him, with hot waves of steam bursting from his pores. The tiger aura swelled as if inflated, a crown illusion appeared over his head, and he was draped in a flowing and magnificent black landscape robe that rustled in the mountain wind. Sister Hong's expression shifted slightly. Mountain Lord Inquiry Fist. Theoretically, a martial artist could start learning divine skill boxing after the boxing lineage. But in reality, even martial arts geniuses typically only began learning it as household names or even masters. First, because the divine skill was so difficult, and early on the cost-performance ratio was low, not conducive to quick breakthrough realms. Second, the moves of divine skill consumed much more chi blood than true skill. Mountain Lord Inquiry Fist, as a middle-level divine skill, had massive consumption which goes without saying. Wang Xian burnt his chi blood, reaching full sublimation. Thick blood fog burst forth, merging with the aura behind him, transforming into a majestic emperor in black robes. The Mountain Lord, the king of 100 beasts, the sovereign of all mountains. His aura metamorphosed, his momentum even more overwhelming. Wang Xian merged with the black-robed emperor, eyes shining with divine light. At that moment, his presence approached that of a grandmaster. He laughed heartily. To fight with such satisfaction is worth the journey. Boom! Wang Xian, like a meteor chasing the moon, collided with the deer-headed monster. His fists burst out like lightning, and the black-robed emperor's mountainous fists bombed out shadows upon shadows of punches. Boom, 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 boom. The wind from his punches created an overwhelming invisible wall that pinned the deer-headed monster to the white bone tower. In an instant, the monster howled in agony. Its writhing flesh melted like a snow in a fiery purge, as the mysterious power restrained its demonic power. Sister Hong exclaimed with great joy. "Effective!" Wang Xian gasped for breath, his eyes sparkling with excitement and fervor. "This is the feeling. It's been a long time since I felt such a surge of heated blood. Sparring with others, after all, couldn't compare to unrestrained combat." He released his suppressed nature and transformed into a fierce tiger, his momentum unrivaled. The deer-headed monster struggled desperately, causing the bone tower to tremble and buzz. At this moment, no one cared about what lay inside the bone tower anymore. If they didn't slay the monster, they would be the ones to die. Time passed by. Unbeknownst to them, the forest was now littered with dead demon bodies, and Lu Chenju cleared the demon blood off his body with a strong gust, his golden body pitted and scarred, flesh and skin covered with wounds. He had grown numb to the external injuries. PFFFD. A long spear pinned a wolf demon of the great void to the ground. Pear blossom spear technique. Small success 100%, right arrow great success 1%. The status of inspiration on the martial arts tree had faded. The world also became quiet. Except for the few void things that scattered or hid, Lu Chenju looked around and saw no more demons. The tiger gall gun was weirdly crimson as if dripping with blood. It too had eaten its fill. The blood pool in the space was full. Chachihu was gulping down the demon blood beside the pool, with gurgling satisfaction. Lu Chenju estimated that once it digested all this, ascending to the rank of Grandmaster Divine Weapon wouldn't be far off. After all, among what it had absorbed were the blood of many shadow-level great voids, which were slain by his senior brother and sister Hong. The corpses were piled on the ground, with demon blood flowing freely. Adhering to the principle of not wasting anything, Lu Chenju absorbed them and saw that his senior brother and sister Hong were suppressing the deer-headed monster. Lu Chenju took the opportunity to gather various valuable demon materials and relics. Once they finished the fight, he quickly withdrew from the place. When they reached a safe location, he would return the spoils of war his senior brother and sister Hong had slain to them. He cut open the belly of a giant snake with a human head. A burst of light flashed, revealing a round, rosy pink flesh ball. Snake demon treasure gallbladder. Like the toad treasure, it was a treasure born of chance. This one was worth several millions. A look of gratification appeared in Lu Chenju's eyes. As long as he safely returned to the human world. This trip was certainly worth it. The materials of these demons scattered across the ground would earn him enough money and battle merits to freely use the Enlightenment Elixir and the Gravity Cultivation Room for a long time, to comfortably strive to break second shackles. Not to mention, mastering a first-class spear technique to great success. And an invaluable treasure, Divine Weapon Wave Heart. He continued to seek treasures among the scattered corpses. Bear Demon Treasure, another good find. Crane Demon Red Top, a deadly toxin. The spines of the Hedgehog Demon are excellent materials for making divine arrows and daggers. A divine weapon was not just close combat weapons like knives, spears, swords, and halberds. There were also special ones, such as divine bows. These kinds of weapons had strategic value in the old times, capable of terrorizing a nation and cutting through battlefields. In an age without modern firearms, a divine archer with a divine bow was like a nuclear weapon. One person equaled an army. In today's world, divine bows were still very powerful. But obviously, they were not as convenient as firearms. Wouldn't a single rocket launcher be stronger than a divine bow? Soon, Lu Chenju discovered one exquisite material after another. His swallowing elephant belt was almost full. Looking around, there were still some ordinary void thing materials left uncollected. What a pity! He would have to see if his senior brother and sister, Hong, still had room in their belts. In Lu Chenju's nature, he could not bear to waste even a little. He arrived at a cliff and overlooked the battle below. He dared not intervene in such a high-level fight. That would be more of a hindrance than help. Just a bit of backlash from the fight he could not withstand. Suddenly, Lu Chenju noticed a hole in his senior brother's chest with his keen eyesight. His heart trembled slightly, deeply touched. Senior brother. In the valley, the intense battle was nearing its end. Initially, the deer-headed monster had the upper hand against the two of them. No other reason, its vitality was too tenacious, and its advantage too clear in a pitched battle. Both Wang Xian and Sister Hong's stamina decreased under the strain of intense combat, accumulating injuries. Fortunately, Wang Xian smartly discovered that the mysterious power on the surface of the White Bone Tower could erode the deer-headed monster's strength. Withstanding the attacks of Antlers and Deer Master's laser eyes, he and Sister Hong nailed it firmly to the tower. As the deerhead's blood continued to evaporate and its flesh charred, its wound-healing speed began to slow, and its momentum started to wane. As every second ticked by, Wang Xian and the Mountain Lord's Chipo merged into one, enabling him to unleash countless heavy punches with each breath. By now, he had thrown thousands, each punch fierce and unbeatable. Sister Hong's seven-colored True Gang transformed into peacock feather quills and shot into the Deer Master's flesh like a torrential rain. She occasionally swept the True Gang over Wang Xian, and 7 colors of True Gang flowed over the wounds on his body, seemingly healing them bit by bit, restoring his stamina. Lu Chenju understood. The peacock's mysterious power also possesses some healing effects. Finally, the deer-headed monster was left with only a head that hadn't melted away. It trembled and buzzed. Its giant face, full of hatred, exploded with a boom. Blood surged to the sky. Within the light, a 20-story-high starlight giant beast with a human face and deer body, its skin dotted with countless stars, descended as a spectral vision. That indifferent, strange, sacred but featureless pale face looked down from the sky with the posture of a deity, gazing upon ants. An indescribable terror and uncanny atmosphere spread, chilling everything in the valley to the bone. The demon soldiers crawled out from the bushes, caves, and springs, their fervent and devoted gazes turned toward the giant deer, prostrating in worship. Chapter 387, 254 Kyanki Slays God, 4K for monthly ticket subscription. All gods kneel before the supreme deity. Mountain God. In the eternal heavens, the immortal God. The demons roared in unison. Chenju pushed down the thought of slaughtering these demons in his heart. His minor bodhi form concealed his chi mechanism to the extreme, still as an unwavering rock amongst the mountains. The spiritual artifact bracelet emerged within the inner realm, suspended between heaven and earth, soothing his quivering heart and body, instinctively trembling from the dreadful divine power and banishing fear to maintain his spirit. The tiger Tai Sui in the inner realm raised his eyes to the heavens, standing with the sword dragged behind him. The fabric of the sky trembled, as if a great terror sought to invade. Suddenly, the sky returned to calm. In the outside world, Wang Xian roared and cast the nine-shadow divine spear to forge a path. The mountain lord inquiry fist struck left and right with an unrivaled might, bursting into the heavens above. He laughed unrestrained and maniacal. You're merely a shadow of an evil intention. What mountain god do you pretend to be? I, Tiger Lord, am the true mountain god. His unyielding martial arts will remain immovable against the divine power, standing firm like a boulder in the current, dividing the waves. The mountain lord's densely packed fist shadows kept converging, and under Chenju's astonished gaze, they coalesced into a character in the night sky. King. Invisible fist winds formed a visible character. The character King's sword, imprinting itself on the face of the colossal deer. Boom! The massive deer collapsed, shaking the valley, causing the demons to cry out. With the holy daughter's soul as the lure and the deer master's body as the medium, it could connect with the supreme existence deep within the forbidden zone, drawing a thread of divine power into the body to form a divine avatar. Even just a thread allowed the deer master to reach an ultimate ascension, momentarily touching the confines of the demon king realm, making him untouchable to human grandmasters. This human powerhouse had shaken the ascended deer master. What desecration! What arrogance! Chenju felt his pulse race, as expected of the martial arts genius who, alongside Li Ao, suppressed the younger generation in Dragon City, worthy of my senior brother. Too powerful. With a human body, he withstood the force of an evil god. With martial arts will, he contested the immense terrifying divine power. This was the martial artist in his heart. After that strongest punch, Wang Xian's face grew even paler. He was already overexerting himself in a brutal battle he'd never faced before in his decades of martial arts practice. Worth it, this battle is so worth it. He soared upward like leaping from a dry well, his fists clashing head-on with the starry deer, shattering the starlight scattered across the sky. Streaks of starlight shot forth like abstract pencil lines across the heavens, eventually forming a colossal net that ensnared Wang Xian. The faceless colossus hung low, uttering human speech with some difficulty. Mortal, what is your name? The godly might pressured him like a tidal wave, Wang Xian's complexion turning purplish. Seeing this, Hong Jai struck toward the sky with one palm, and the vibrant peacock screeched away. The colossal deer, unflinching, bore the brunt of the blow, causing a wave of starlight and a slight tremor in its form. Insignificant beings. A new deer head sprouted from the massive deer's chest, its neck growing with the wind, plunging down towards Hong Jai, who swiftly evaded. In an instant, a deep rift was whipped into the ground, parting the mist of the valley. Even two great masters struggled so hard when joined. Wang Xian's fists grew faster, hammering away at the starlight net. He broke free, his lips splitting into a wild laugh as he plummeted down, suddenly lashing out with a kicking. You're not worthy to know my name. Bang! The starlight massive deer crashed to the ground, its two heads elongating and chasing after Wang Xian in the sky, like twisting ropes. Wang Xian's eyes fixed on the white bone tower as he stepped through the air, a trail of true gang forming wings behind him. An immense overlay of wings appeared to cover the sky. The lower divine skill, flying sky Kyanki body. Wang Xian's true gang shook the chi flow as he dive-bombed towards the bone tower, withdrawing his wings. Such a move greatly consumed his true gang, and even with his master-level cultivation, he dared to use it briefly. Wang Xian circled the tower pivotally as the two heads of the starlight massive deer chased him in a serpentine spiral, aware of the bone tower's restraining effect on it, thus daring not come close. Taking advantage of this, Wang Xian kept it at bay using the tower. Suddenly, the massive deer's two heads split, one clockwise and the other counterclockwise, attacking Wang Xian from both sides, with the wall-like colossal face colliding towards him. Boom! Wang Xian pushed out with both arms, fists striking left and right, the fist winds wrinkling the massive face, yet it relentlessly ensnared Wang Xian in the middle. Roar! Wang Xian roared, his hands gripping the skin to wrap the deer's neck tightly around the bone tower. In an instant, bubbles frothed on the massive deer like a boiling cauldron. The form of the massive deer swelled erratically, as though about to explode. It was an ascension forced, and now its divine power was nearly exhausted. It had not expected this mortal to be so troublesome. Those who desecrate the gods must die. More deer heads grew from its chest, waving like tentacles to entangle Wang Xian, his struggles growing weaker and weaker. Boom! The bone tower under their fierce battle finally collapsed under the strain. It was now filled with blood, the white bone transformed into blood bone, the low roars incessantly emanating. At last the roars grew louder, until an earth-shattering tiger roar erupted. Roar! The bone tower crumbled, blood bones scattered across the sky, the colossal tiger skull behind it slightly moving its jaw. Countless blood bones flooded in, assembling a skeletal behemoth with twin horns on its head and bone wings on its back. Its hollow eyes exuded an ancient, simple, and grand aura. On the cliffside, Chenju's expression shifted. His tiger gall gun in his palm began to tremble violently. Indeed, the tiger gall gun is related to this colossal tiger skeleton. Connecting through heart intent, Chenju could feel the emotions of the tiger gall gun. Chapter 388, 254 Qianqi Godslayer, 4K request for monthly ticket and subscription, /2. Sorrow, nostalgia, reverence, solitude. The giant tiger's skeleton was undoubtedly an ancestor of the Cha-Chihu. However, the Cha-Chihu species had long been extinct. The lonely tiger gall divine spear felt the long-lost presence of its kin. Lu Chenju could not help but tear up, whether because of the divine weapon or because of the desperate Wang Xian. He let go, and with a hum, the tiger gall divine spear turned into a meteor and flew towards the giant tiger's skeleton unhesitatingly. After the appearance of the giant tiger's skeleton, it merely stood there, bewildered. It had died many years ago, and even its will had been eroded by the passage of time, leaving only the last trace of lingering thoughts, not enough to propel it into action. Suddenly, the tiger gall divine spear stabbed into the giant tiger's skeleton, and in that moment, the will contained in the divine spear surged into the giant tiger's skeleton like a flood, bursting forth with endless divine light. The tiger's eyes flashed with a bloody light, and it immediately looked towards the deer-headed giant beast. Driven by obsession, its bony wings swept the clouds away as it flew, its bone claws stabbing into the giant deer's body of starlight, with an ancient aura spreading, as the fierce tiger appeared intent on slaying a god. The heavenly tiger clan perished at the hands of the gods of the Forbidden Zone. The long-held obsessions and hatred erupted at this moment, the giant tiger grasping the giant deer as they soared, flying high, tearing through the cloud mists and gales, the valley growing smaller until they reached the clouds in the sky, where chi flows and lightning flickered and jumped on their bodies, eventually accumulating enough to stir the gales and clouds, forming purple thunder and boundless hurricanes. Commanding the thunder, controlling the wild winds. Heavenly might fell upon the giant deer, engulfing it, endless divine light scattering, the giant deer's body gradually growing fainter. It conjured hundreds of antlers that entwined the giant tiger. A cold voice echoed through the sky. Vain struggles of the already dead. The giant tiger's form exploded with a roar, turning into a sky full of blood-red bone dust. Outsiders speaking recklessly of deities. From the dawn of ancient times, we were the sovereigns of heaven and earth. The obsessions dissipated, the giant tiger and the giant deer perished together. The sky returned to calm, the wild winds and thunder vanished. The tiger gall divine spear fell from the sky, stabbing straight into the earth of the valley. Lu Chenju approached and carefully examined the divine weapon, communicated through his heart intent, and entered the divine weapon world, where he saw the spirit of the Cha-Chihu in the blood pool. It had a complex expression, as if it had undergone some sort of transformation. It had absorbed the last vestige of the heavenly tiger's obsessions. It had learned much, knew it was powerless to change anything. It quietly lay beside the blood pool, frantically drinking the pool of demon blood. No wonder the tiger-gall divine spear has the ability to quench itself with blood. The tribe of the Cha-Chihu, along with the demons and the existence behind the forbidden area, must hold ancestral enmities, involving secrets of the void realm that are even more ancient and buried by the yellow sands. Lu Chenju had originally thought the Tiger King Valley forged this weapon to hunt the Cha-Chihu. Now, it seemed there might be other possibilities, past events, already like clouds of smoke. This divine weapon bore too much. He had no time to examine the changes in the divine weapon. After putting it away, he ran to Wang Xian's side, who at that moment looked like a bloodied man, his body covered with ferocious wounds, with 7 wounds penetrating close to vital organs. At that moment, Wang Xian was meditating with closed eyes, like an ascetic monk. Lu Chenju's expression tensed. He hastily called for Sister Hong. After meditating for a moment, Sister Hong came over to check and said, "He can control his organs and bones to shift and replace positions. None of the injuries are fatal. He's just lost too much blood. He is currently in turtle breath mode to seal off the leaking of qi blood. Let's see if there are any treasures and then hurry and leave this place." "All right." Lu Chenju breathed a sigh of relief, looking up. The sky had a few flakes of snow falling, which were the ashes of the Cha-Chihu's ancestors, as the battle just then had exhausted all the residual mysterious power inside the giant tiger's skeleton. He asked the dog ghost to protect Wang Xian as he started searching the vicinity. Where the bone tower once stood, there was a dried-up well. Protected by Sister Hong's true gang, she cautiously approached the well's edge, where she found several light blue chains, corroded by time, yet still emanated a radiant divine light. Looking down the well, a hybrid beast with a human head and a snake body lay inside, its skeleton devoid of life. Atop the skull rested a fist-sized blood lotus, emitting a strange fragrance, standing alone without any leaves, rooted solitarily in the skull. On the other side, Lu Chenju made a round but found nothing noteworthy. He approached the well and studied its structure, muttering, "Red, this dry well must have been for suppressing a demon, right?" Red, covering her hand imbued with true gang, caressed the chains beside the well and replied, "This is outer heaven divine iron, several times stronger than C9 alloy. It also has another name, outer heaven divine iron. To use so much divine iron to seal this demon, it must have been at least a demon king during its life. But now its soul and spirit are scattered, and its spirituality is all gone. Your senior brother guessed right. This bone tower was constructed to suppress the demon king. It relies on the divine power within those massive tiger bones to erode the dead demon king's will and spirituality." Lu Chenju had an epiphany. Even in death, the existence above a demon king can incubate malevolent spirits with lingering wills continuing to cause havoc. The most direct example would be the Green Fire Master, who even after death for many years, required Heavenly King Li to continuously erode his spirit with sword qi. Hence from ancient times, when a Taoist master defeated a demon king, they usually needed to continue refining for a period to ensure its obsession dissipated, eliminating any chance of resurrection. This bone tower likely adhered to the same principle, albeit its builders suspected to be indigenous civilization of the void realm, as Dazia had not grasped the mysterious side powers. Red took out a rubbing paper and bent down by the well. She made a rubbing of the strange characters around it, a hobby of hers being the study of these mystical scripts. Her ancestors had also collected many similar scripts, later handed over to Dazia's specialized mystical department. This department gathered many scholars of the mystical to decode the scripts of the lost civilization and the cult in the void realm to fight against the 3 evils and the void realm. After making the rubbing, Red smiled and said, "Tell your senior brother that this text is my payment for this trip. By submitting these rubbings to the Dazia officials, I can exchange them for a considerable reward." Lu Chenju was fixated on the blood lotus, recalling in his mind. The Heavenly Treasure Book records a yellow-grade heavenly material and earthly treasure named Void Blood Lotus, generally growing in the lands where a great demon has fallen. 100 years to burst its body, 1,000 years to blossom, 3,000 years to bear lotus seeds, the seeds being of Xuan-grade red lotus seed. Heavenly materials and earthly treasures, varied and profound. Lu Chenju couldn't be sure if this was the one mentioned in the Heavenly Treasure book. Being treasures born from nature, even those of the same type often differ in their external features. Moreover, this blood lotus growing on the demon's skull was somewhat unsettling. He was slightly worried that the demon wasn't dead, and was masquerading as a heavenly material, an earthly treasure to revive and seize his body. Some old mythological and supernatural novels were written like this. Red was both talented and courageous. She directly jumped down the deep well and broke off the blood lotus together with the demon's skull. She laughed. Don't worry, the demon is long dead. She guessed that Lu Chenju was haunted by the sight of the giant tiger skeleton reviving. Holding the blood lotus in one hand and gripping the demon king's skeleton with the other, she leaped out. Boom! The Tenjang-long skeleton of the demon king hit the ground, its remaining power still terrifying. Red said, "Let me pull out these chains." She covered her hands with true gang, her feet pressed against the well's walls, veins in her face bulging, her arm muscles swollen and engorged, turning her delicate arms into formidable muscular ones. Huh! With a burst of brute strength, Red erupted, the chains clinking metallically. She forcefully pulled out the chains along with the massive stones connected to the wellside and tossed them aside, exhaling like a bull and said, "According to the agreement, all these findings are yours." Lu Chenju laughed. "I alone can't use so much divine iron, Red. You keep it for now. Let's hurry and leave, and after we return to Star River City and wait for my senior brother to wake up, we can then distribute them." Red gave a thumbs up and patted Lu Chenju on the shoulder. "All right, let's head back." Even though Red was just a guide, she hadn't held back in this battle for them, brothers risking their lives here. If she didn't get a share, it would show Lu Chenju as lacking in grace. His gains from this trip had already far exceeded expectations. The priority was to safely escort his senior brother away.